What's poppin'? What's poppin'? How's everybody doing? Welcome back to Life According to Rick podcast. If you're new here, welcome. Glad to have you. And to all my day ones, per usual, I appreciate y'all always. Now, I want to start off today by wishing everybody a happy early 4th of July to everybody listening. If you're off today, enjoy it to the fullest. Some of us are stuck at work, but that's okay. And if you're working, it's all good. We're almost there. Just get through the day, and then it's time to enjoy the weekend. And you know what's crazy? So this is episode 32, right? And I've thought about, quitting this podcast more than once, for certain reasons, nothing too crazy, but not because I don't love it, but because, life, kind of gets a little hectic. You know what I mean? Sometimes it gets heavy. So I'm still here. I'm still showing up and I'm still recording. So let's keep it pushing. And I think that's part of what this episode is really about: consistency versus burnout. Because we're in one of those seasons where everything just feels like it's moving fast. Work doesn't slow down, life doesn't slow down, responsibilities don't slow down. And I've been feeling that myself lately, trying to stay consistent with everything I've got going on while also feeling that weight starting to build a little bit. And I think one thing people don't really talk about is how life changes can shift the entire routine without warning. Like you can be consistent with something for months or years, and then life outside of you starts changing, and now you're adjusting in real time. Like right now in my own life, my wife just started this new gig, right? So she has to commute. It's a little bit ways out, you know what I mean? So she has to get up earlier. She's out the house before everybody, right? And then she's like the last one to get to the crib. So now I have to adjust. You know, I'm working, right? And the minute I get off the clock, Harlem comes home, he gets dropped off, right? And then I gotta tend to him and, do stuff around the house, whether it be doing the dishes or, starting dinner. So that way when my wife gets home, she doesn't have to like start cooking late, you know? And basically, after he eats and winds down, give him his bath and get him settled for bed. So, it's just those little things that, it kind of takes a toll on you if you think about it. And it's not even about complaining, but it's just the reality. Like life does not pause for your routine. And I personally feel this is where the consistency starts to get tested because you're still showing up the same way you always have, right? But then your responsibilities gotten increased without any warning. And I think a lot of people are dealing with that in different ways right now. One thing I've noticed is consistency gets praised, but burnout is invisible. People see the results, they see output, they see you showing up, but they don't see what people are dealing with behind closed doors. And that's the crazy part because, we keep telling ourselves, well, at least I know I can speak for myself. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but you know, my whole model is, I gotta keep pushing. I gotta do this for my family, I'm the provider and that's what us men struggle with, right? So we deal with these silent battles, and it can get a little rough, but you know, I gotta do what I gotta do. And the better you are at holding things down, the more it just becomes expected. Now, in regards to that, and I'm not saying that my wife expects me to, you know, do everything in the crib because that's definitely not the case. Like, we always talk throughout the day, and like I'll even tell her, I'll be like, babe, like, I didn't get a chance to do the dishes or, whatever, like, and she'll tell me like, no, don't worry about it, I can do it, or, we can wait till he falls asleep when I get home, and we can tag team in the kitchen and do what we have to do. And I feel like that's important, because it's about teamwork. We're a unit, and I feel like me as the head of household, right, as the husband, what I'm saying, because she's not home, I kind of have to like fill that void, right, especially with Harlem. And I think it's something that I've always done since he's been born anyways, just kind of being there and having that routine with him and being present with him, and kind of like keeping him busy, because the moment he gets home, he's like, where's mommy? I miss her. And it's like he just went through the whole day being at school, and he's so accustomed to having both of us at home at the same time that any kid will be like, where's my mom? Kids at that age, they don't understand the why. Like he has a million questions. Oh, mommy's working, when's she coming home? But he doesn't understand that, we have to go to work because we have to keep a roof over our head and put food on the table. Like kids don't grasp that concept early on. You know what I mean? It's gonna take them a little bit before they can even comprehend the why we do certain things, right? Especially when it comes to them, because I feel like when we become parents, we do it for them. And I think we're all kind of living in this always on mindset now. And I know me personally, I'm always on go mode. I think that I've always been so used to being on survival mode that I don't know how to turn that off. You know, Work doesn't really end anymore, especially remote work. Because, like I work most of the week from home, and then I'm a couple days in the office. But because of the holiday, you know, I've been at home this whole week. So like there's no real separation. You know what I'm saying? You're just stuck in the house, but you're still working, right? Then you get off work and life doesn't pause. The responsibilities are still there, family, home stuff, everything stacking on top of one another. So like it feels like there's no real clock out. You're just switching tasks and not even like getting rest. I had to really think about the difference between discipline and burnout. Because discipline builds you. It's structure, it's growth, it's consistency with purpose. Burnout looks similar from the outside, but inside, it's different. It's draining you while you're still trying to perform. One adds to your life, the other slowly takes from it while you're still moving. And I want to be clear that this isn't about quitting anything. This is about learning to adjust. Because just like anything in life, we have to learn to adapt and adjust to certain things, right? Because I think that sometimes we think the only two options are either go full throttle or stop completely. But there's a middle ground. We can still be consistent, just at a pace that doesn't break you. Rest isn't the opposite of consistency, it's a part of it. You know, I always like to look at it, if you're running on empty, how you gonna, let me rephrase that. You can't pour out of an empty cup, right? So it's like how you gonna pour into your loved ones and be able to be there for them if you're empty. Like we got to learn to recharge, to recalibrate, kind of get that rest. It's very important. So what everybody got going on for the 4th? We got some cookouts, some beach days, pool parties. What's the play for this weekend? Let me know. As for me, the beach is definitely out. There was some sewer pipe situation, and yeah, I'm not stepping into that. I'm all set on that one. So we'll see what the weekend brings. And I think that's the point too. Whether you're working off with family or just taking it easy, I hope that you actually take some time to enjoy it. Soak it all in. Not just rush through it thinking about the next thing. Because that's the part of what I've been learning too. Rest isn't something you earn at the end of everything. It's something you need while you're in it. And like I said earlier, I've had moments where I thought about quitting this podcast. Not because I don't love it, but because life gets heavy sometimes. But I'm still here. Trust and believe your boy ain't going nowhere. I'm still showing up, still figuring it out as I go. And I think that's the beauty of what consistency is. Not perfection, not always being at 100%, just not quitting when things get heavy. I appreciate every single one of y'all that's been rocking with me from episode 1 to now episode 32. Like, it's a huge milestone, and it's been quite a journey. So I love y'all for that. So I hope y'all have a safe 4th of July. Enjoy your weekend. Please take care of yourselves. Be safe. Don't drink and drive. If you can give your keys to somebody that hasn't been drinking, pass it over. Don't be hard headed. Take a Uber if you have to. But I'll catch y'all on the next one. Y'all be safe. Peace.